You know that feeling when the alarm goes off and your body just refuses? Like, not in a dramatic way. It doesn't fling the phone across the room or anything. It just goes very, very quiet and still, like a dog that knows it's bath time. And you lie there, completely conscious, fully aware that you are an adult with responsibilities, and yet somehow you cannot locate the part of your brain that moves your legs. That is me. That was me. For most of my 30s, that was my entire relationship with mornings. I want to talk about mornings. Specifically, I want to talk about what happens in the first hour after you open your eyes, because I think that first hour shapes almost everything that follows. Your mood, your food, your patience, your focus. And most of us are spending it in a way that genuinely makes the whole day harder than it needs to be. Not because we are lazy, just because nobody ever really showed us there was another way. Right, so let me describe the problem properly, and I'll do it by telling you about two blokes. They are both fictional, but they are both absolutely real. One of them is basically who I used to be, and the other one is, well, where I eventually got to after approximately 4 decades of doing it wrong. Bloke 1. Alarm goes at 7. Hit snooze at 7. Hit snooze at 7:09. Lies there at 7:18 in that horrible half sleep that is not restful, but is also not waking up. It is just existing in a warm fog, slightly stressed, already behind. Eventually drags himself out of bed at 7:30, which gives him about 25 minutes to get out of the house. He does not drink water. He drinks coffee while standing over the kitchen counter in yesterday's t-shirt, eating something beige, a slice of toast, half a cereal bar, whatever's nearest, and he does not sit down for it because there is no time to sit down. He checks his phone while the kettle boils. His first conscious thought of the day is someone else's problem. He has not moved, has not seen daylight, has not had a moment that was genuinely his. By 9 o'clock, he is already playing catch-up, and he'll spend the rest of the day vaguely tired, vaguely irritable, reaching for sugar at 11 because his body is trying to cope, and wondering why everything feels slightly harder than it should. Now, bloke 2. This bloke gets up at 6:30. Not because he is disciplined in some heroic sense, just because the night before, and this is the bit, the night before he put his gym kit out, put a glass of water on the bedside table, and went to bed at a time that made 6:30 feel human rather than punishing. He wakes up. He drinks the water before he even stands up. Not some enormous ceremonial pint, just a glass, because he has been asleep for 7 hours and his body is mildly dehydrated, and water is, it turns out, quite good for that. Then he goes outside, maybe just a 15-minute walk. Maybe he moves in the garden for a bit. Nothing that requires a sports bra or a protein shake, just movement and daylight on his face and some air that isn't recirculated bedroom air. And by the time he sits down with his coffee, and he does sit down properly at the table, he has already done something. He has had a small win before the world has made any demands of him whatsoever. And here is the thing. By mid-morning, bloke 2 is sharper. He is less likely to eat something terrible just because it is there. He is slightly more patient in the meeting that is running over, slightly less likely to snap at whoever has left the milk out again. Not because he is a better person, because his day started with a foundation rather than a scramble. I was bloke 1 for a long time, genuinely. I have a fairly decent job, I love my kids, I'm not a complete disaster. But my mornings were just this chaotic nothing where I lurched from the bed to the door and wondered why I felt vaguely behind before 10 o'clock. And the mad thing is, I thought that was just how I was, not a morning person. That was my identity. I told people this like it was a personality type rather than a choice I was making every single night by staying up too late watching things I didn't even care about. Which, if you are watching this and thinking, yes, but I'm genuinely not a morning person, I hear you. I really do. But I gently push back on one thing. Are you not a morning person? Or are you just not a going to bed at a sensible time person? Because those are different problems. And the solution to one of them is the alarm. And the solution to the other one is whatever you're doing at 11:15 at night when you should be winding down. Before I go any further, if any of this sounds even vaguely familiar, There's a subscribe button somewhere on this page. This channel is basically me working out loud, a bit late, the things I wish I'd known earlier. If that sounds useful, come along. So, practical stuff. Because I am not going to just describe two blokes and leave you there, the biggest thing, and I cannot overstate this, is the night before. The morning does not start in the morning. It starts at 10:30 the night before when you decide what tomorrow looks like. Put your kit out. Fill a glass of water and put it somewhere you'll see it. Know what you are going to eat for breakfast so you are not standing in the kitchen at 7:15 staring into the fridge like it owes you an answer. The whole reason mornings feel chaotic is that we are making too many decisions under pressure. Remove the decisions. Do it the night before when you are not rushing, not half asleep, not already annoyed. The second thing is the phone. I know, but the phone first thing in the morning is genuinely just handing your attention to whoever shouted loudest overnight. You open your eyes and immediately you are dealing with someone else's email, someone else's opinion, someone else's emergency that is probably not an emergency. Your morning, the bit that is yours, gets colonized before you have even had a chance to notice it exists. The first 20 minutes after you wake up, just leave the phone. It will still be there. Everything on it will still be wrong in exactly the same ways. It can wait. Third thing, water before coffee. I know that sounds like something someone says at a wellness retreat, but there's a reason for it. You've been horizontal for 7 or 8 hours. You are dehydrated. Coffee is a diuretic. If you put coffee into a dehydrated body before anything else, you are running on caffeine and vibes. And that's fine until about 10:30, when it falls off a cliff and you are mainlining biscuits for the rest of the morning. Just drink the water first. It takes 45 seconds. Your body will notice. And then move. Not a session. Not the gym at 6 a.m. if that is not your thing. I'm not here to make anyone feel guilty about not owning a foam roller. Just move. Walk around the block. Stretch in the kitchen while the kettle boils. Do something that reminds your body it is a body and not just a vehicle for your anxious brain. 10 minutes of daylight and movement in the morning does more for your energy and your mood than almost anything else I have found. And it does not require equipment or a subscription or a particular level of ambition. It just requires going outside. Here is what I actually want, though. The reason I keep thinking about all of this. I have 2 boys. They are young still. The kind of young where mornings are mostly cereal and arguing about whose turn it is to find their own shoes. But they watch me. They watch me more carefully than I ever realised. And the version of mornings they grow up seeing, that becomes normal to them, that becomes what a morning looks like. I want them to grow up thinking that mornings are worth something. Not in a punishment way, not in a suffer at 5 a.m. for glory way, just in a quiet way. The idea that the first part of your day can belong to you, that you can wake up and do something small that is yours before the world starts asking things of you. Because I spent too many years waking up already behind, already reactive, already in someone else's story, and I don't want that for them. I want them to know, early, much earlier than I did, that a good morning is not complicated. It is just a glass of water and some air and a bit of movement before the noise starts. It's not that deep, really. And yet somehow it changes almost everything. It took me till my 40s to figure that out. You know that feeling when the alarm goes off? Yeah, these days I still feel it. I still have the moment where my body goes quiet like the dog. But then I drink the water, put my feet on the floor, and go outside while it's still a bit cold and a bit quiet, and the street is empty, and for about 15 minutes, it's just me. That bit's mine. Before any of it starts,